Hello, thank you for joining us for our July 2021 edition of Librarian Book Club Book Chat. I'm Annie Phillips at the downtown Huntsville-Madison County Public Library, and with me as always are my wonderful partners in this, Amanda Campbell. She is the branch manager of the Monrovia branch, and Lady Smith of our wonderful Snail on the Wall local booksellers. And we get together every month and just pick a few of the many, many books we get real excited about that are coming up. So we've got July already and a huge crop of things to read. So if you got a vacation or time off coming up, listen up. So I'm going to start with what I am excited about. And I've got several here. The first one, I just love that Tiffany blue of the cover. It's deceptive because the content is a little scary. It's called Lights Out in Lincolnwood. This comes out July 6th, right after the holiday, by Jeff Rodkey. And I like the tagline. Is it the end of the world or just a really bad day? And you've got your martini with a bullet in it. So that kind of gives you a little more idea of what's going on. So this is a family of four. They're all busy, jobs, schools, affluent. And it's kind of compared as far as writers go to Tom Perrotta and Emma Straub. So if you like their writing, this will probably appeal to you. So it's a Tuesday morning in Lincolnwood, New Jersey. Everyone's doing their thing. And all of a sudden, everyone's got their little problems and issues that seem large. And then all of a sudden, as everyone's getting to work and school, like everything stops, like not just the power, cars, trains. So it's kind of like if you've ever read some of those like books about the, electromagnetic pulse. I don't know if you've ever read one second after that came out a few years ago, but this is a little bit more lighthearted than that, I think. But anyway, so everything stops for like 4 days, and this family is kind of learning how to deal with it, especially having no preparation like most of us would for something like that. And in the summary I thought was kind of funny. This privileged but clueless American family will struggle to hold it together in the face of water shortages, paramilitary neighbors, and the well-mannered looting of the local Whole Foods as they try to figure out just what the hell is going on. So I've got that on my list. It sounds fun. The next one also comes out July 6th. This is called Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austin. And it's kind of another mix of stuff, but it seems really funny and sweet. It's about a young woman named Gilda. She's 20, she's depressed, thinking about death, but seems very gentle. She loves animals. She's an atheist, she's a lesbian, which is germane in my second sentence. And she's trying to get some help. And so she goes to she sees a flyer for free therapy at the local Catholic church, and she goes. And unfortunately, the pastor there doesn't realize she's there for the counseling, and he thinks she's the replacement for the secretary that had just died. And so all of a sudden she's, thrust into being this receptionist, having to learn lines for Catholic Mass, hiding that she has a new girlfriend. And she, in the meantime, the old receptionist's friend is trying to get in touch with her. And Gilda doesn't have the heart to tell her that the woman is dead now, to tell the friend. So there's some, she's having to sort of keep that whole ruse as well. So it just seems really sweet and funny and kind of different. So I'm excited about that one. The third one I'm also looking forward to is called The Startup Wife by Tamima Anam. It's about two newlyweds. They're like Silicon Valley, both extremely talented and smart. And they build an app. Asha and Cirrus build an app that replaces religious rituals and soon find themselves running one of the most popular social media platforms in the world. And as you can probably imagine, things aren't as hunky-dory as, create the, most popular product ever. People all over the world, or there's this pressure for them to build these personalized rituals for every customer. And then, of course, the tension between the husband and wife as they deal with fame and recognition and everything. So that one sounds cool and like a really neat concept. The next one is called The Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig. I just recently read The Wanderers by Chuck Wendig. That was the first thing I've read by him. He kind of writes in the sci-fi and horror realm, and he's a fun writer. The Wanderers was super interesting, and this one looks great too. If you're a fan of sort of horror and long ago crimes coming back to plague people, this is set in Pennsylvania. A family moves from the city and they, are trying to get away, but they get way more than they bargained for. There's a killer that's been dead for 30 years, but somehow I don't think he's quite gone yet. There's some supernatural stuff. It sounds like a lot of fun. The summary says, the book will be catnip to horror fans, complete with meddling kids, doppelgangers, dimensional fissures, nice, demons and ghosts. So it had me at dimensional fissures. Finally, I have Godspeed by Nicholas Butler. And I read Shotgun Love Songs, that's his former book, a while back. He's a great writer. This one is set, it kind of sounds like, modern day stuff that we're dealing with right now. It's three friends who are doing construction. This is out in Jackson Hole in Wyoming. They're building a house for this multimillionaire, and she's offering them money, like a huge amount of money if they can get it done ahead of time. But, they can't cut corners. And so they start feeling those sorts of pressures, and they're each dealing with things in their life that are difficult and, I think evolves into sort of a thriller. So I'm excited to read this one as well. And just for the story and for the good writing. So that's what I have, and I will pass it on to Amanda. Thank you.
All right, some more great picks today. I'm always so excited to see what's coming up. The first one I want to mention is We Are the Babysitters Club, Essays and Artwork from Grown-Up Readers. This is edited by Marissa Crawford and Megan Milks, and the foreword is by Mara Wilson, who was the amazing Matilda way back in the day. So this is an anthology of essays and artwork, all from those of us who grew up loving the Babysitters Club. It is going to be fun and full of nostalgia, and but it's not just fun. It looks at how reading the Babysitters Club shaped our ideas about some big things like gender politics, friendship, fashion, and more. So I'm excited to read through this to see what they have to say. That one comes out July 6th. The next one also comes out July 6th. It is Fox and I, An Uncommon Friendship by Catherine Raven. I got to read this one, and it is just lovely. It is a memoir from Catherine Raven. She got her PhD in biology and then built herself a cottage in this really remote area of Montana. Yes, Montana. So by moving into this place, she's changed the ecosystem. And so she's planting some things and observing some wildlife and trying to figure out how to get the ecosystem back to the way it was. And in the meantime, this fox starts showing up at her house every day at the same time. And so finally, she just grabs a chair and sits down and meets the fox every day and reads The Little Prince to him. And as a scientist, she learned that you're not supposed to anthropomorphize animals and wildlife, but she starts to get to know this little fox's personality and starts to form this friendship with him. And he helps her work through all of the issues that she's going through in life. So if you like nature books, definitely check this out. If you like memoirs from people who are going on a personal journey, this is also wonderful. Definitely a great pick for a lot of people. The next one is The Case of the Murderous Dr. Cream, The Hunt for a Victorian-Era Serial Killer. This is by Dean Job, comes out July 13th. And this is, like the subtitle says, a Victorian era serial killer. So in the span of about 15 years, Dr. Thomas Neal Crean murdered as many as 10 people in the United States, Britain, and Canada. And this was a lot for that time period. The book is structured around the doctor's London murder trial in 1892 when he was finally brought to justice. And it explores the blind trust that we give to medical practitioners, as well as the flawed detection methods, bungled investigations, corrupt officials, and stifling morality of the Victorian society that allowed him to prey on vulnerable and desperate women, many of whom had turned to him for medical help. So, scary idea, can sometimes be scary relevant today, but if you're a true crime fan, definitely check this out. The next one is It's Elemental, The Hidden Chemistry in Everything. This is by Kate the Chemist. And Kate the Chemist is known as like the younger, cooler, next Bill Nye the Science Guy. And she's so much fun. She makes learning and chemistry fun for people of all ages. She also has a kids series that is very, very cute. This book is taught, like the subtitle says, the hidden chemistry in everything. So if you wanted to know what makes dough rise, or how your morning coffee gives you that energy boost, or why your shampoo actually makes your hair look greasy, read this book to find out. If you're a fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson or Mary Roach, check this one out. The next one is Bring Your Baggage and Don't Pack Light by Helen Ellis. And Helen Ellis is the hilarious essay author of books like American Housewife and Southern Lady Code. And this one brings more essays with a lot of fun and humor and heart. She gets together with lifelong friends for a reunion on the Redneck Riviera, and they unpack all the things that are going on in their life. So you'll expect to hear stories about married middle-aged sex, or sobs with a theater full of women. And this one says, shots of stomach bile to the neck to get rid of a double chin. Who would have thought? So lots of fun stories. This is going to be a great summer read, but it also has some raw vulnerability and an emotional generosity. So you'll have a great experience with this one. And for the last book, I know it's a diversion from my typical nonfiction, but I had to talk about the new Bromance Book Club book. This one is called Isn't It Bromantic by Alyssa K. Adams. And the Bromance Book Club is a series of contemporary romance novels about this group of guys in Nashville, and they're like alpha males. So like baseball players and club owners and hockey players. And they get together to form a book club that reads romance novels, and they call them manuals, and they use them to help them through their relationships in life. It is fantastic. It is so much fun. And actually, this series has gotten more real life men to read romance novels. So the author started a romance book club herself. So you can buy into one of those subscription services that's catered specifically to men who are now reading romance. Very, very cool. This book in particular focuses on the character of Vlad. He's the Russian and a hockey player. He entered into a marriage of convenience, and his wife has some kind of scary past that he doesn't really know a whole lot about. But now he's realizing that he really does want love, and he wants to have a partner who can care for him in more than just a marriage of convenience sense. And so the bros are unwilling to let Vlad forgo true love, and they are joining forces with Vlad's senior citizen neighbors and it's a group of meddling widows who call themselves the Loaders. So they're all going to get together to try and help Vlad find true love. Meanwhile, some of the scary things from his wife's past are coming back to haunt him. So check that one out. Isn't It Romantic on July 20th. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. And I love your love story, your love letter to the bromance novels. It's wonderful. And I can't wait for Helen Ellis. I love her. She and Nora Ephron is too bad. Nora Ephron's no longer with us because they would probably do some amazing stuff together. All right, now we are on to Lady and what she is looking at for July.
And let me say, no fair, Amanda, with your 6 books, because I had a long list. It's hard this month. As usual, there are so many books. So they all sound good. Let's see, Annie.
Here we go.
There we go. There are my picks. I'll start with the first one, London's #1 dog walking agency. This is coming out in early July. That one's July 6th. It's a memoir, and it's on the charming side. Kate McDougall, actually used to work for Sotheby's, and she has a career change and decides to open her own dog walking agency. Of course, she's college educated and, wants to be upwardly mobile, and she's, unsure about this decision, but she ends up really embracing it and gets to know not just the dogs, but their owners and the people. And so it's a story of the pets that she walks and the families that she takes care of, but also her own growth. And, in the meantime, she ends up buying a house and becoming a little more settled and enjoying her new job. So it's just that kind of feel good, if you like a memoir, watching someone come of age, that kind of thing. So very charming and enjoyable. Now I'll move to one that's a little bit more serious, but also a great summer read, The Paper Palace. This is a debut novel from Miranda Cowley Heller, comes out July 6th as well, set on Cape Cod during the summer, so a great summer read. It is about a summer place, and people, they gather there, and the main character is Elle, who's 50 years old, happily married with 3 children. Well, she's there with her husband and her family, but one night her childhood friend is also there, and they end up getting together. And it was like her childhood love. And in the course of one night, she has to decide, is this going to alter the course of her life, her marriage, her family, or not? So it's all that about secrets and love. And it's actually by someone who has worked as the drama series editor or producer at HBO. So she's done series like The Sopranos and 6 Feet Under, The Wire. So I think she really understands storytelling. So the people at the publisher said this was everyone's favorite pick for the summer. So I think we're going to hear a lot about that. Now I'll move to another one that is also a little bit on the serious side, or intense. I'll call it intense. She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. And this one comes out, I believe, July 20th. And this one is set in 14th century China. It is a military fantasy. So it is about a young girl who disguises herself as a man, specifically as a monk, in order to survive during a drought. And so she gets involved with fighting the invading Mongols, and she's using her wit to survive. And so it's really about survival and sacrifice and identity and gender, because she's disguising herself and as a male. And so it's really about destiny. So it takes on a lot of kind of heavy issues. It looks a little bit like YA because it's about a teen girl, but my reviewer said it's not YA. It's a little serious. So, but I think it'll be just a really powerful read. My next one is also a little bit on the fantasy side, or at least it's got some sci-fi. It's called Appleseed by Matt Bell. This one is indeed about Johnny Appleseed. So it does have that plot set 200 years ago, but it also has a plot. There's sort of 3 intertwining plots: Johnny Appleseed, but then also a tale of civilization that's on the brink of disaster 50 years from now. and then also a story set 1,000 years in the future, all about Earth, our ecology. It involves Greek myth, the Bible, Grimm's fairy tales. I mean, this is just like an archetypal kind of novel, really kind of epic. So it's for people that really enjoyed The Overstory by Richard Powers, or people that like Margaret Atwood. And it really is about our Earth and, all of that. So, and the human relationship to the Earth. So I think that's going to be another one that people are going to really talk about. And then I'll end with kind of a personal favorite author, Heather Weber. She has a new book coming out. She's had one each summer for the past few years. This one is The Lights of Sugarberry Cove. Heather lives in Cincinnati and doesn't live in Alabama, but she writes about Alabama. So we call her an honorary Alabamian because she gets it. Every time she does another book about Alabama, we all say, well, how do you know that you're getting the setting exactly right? She loves small town Alabama. So this one, I think, they're all fictional small towns. This one, I believe, is based on sort of a Fairhope type place. And Heather's books are always feel-good stories, although they take on sort of serious subjects, sometimes about grief, sometimes about, hard things, but she always has kind of an inspirational message. And so this one is about two sisters that return after their mother has a heart attack. They return to take care of her, but they're having to confront some of the things from their own past that kind of haunt them. One of them almost drowned on the lake, and so when she was a child, and so they're returning there and kind of coming to terms with some of those things. But we absolutely love everything Heather writes, and she's going to sign copies for her. The books are going to be sent to her in Cincinnati. She's signing copies, and the Snail will be selling signed copies. And I think recipes. Her books almost always have recipes too. So we're going to have recipes that go with this one too. The first one was pies and then cookies last year in South of the Buttone Tree. This one might be banana pudding. I'm not sure. I need to see what the recipes are going to be. But this one is July 20th. So we've got about a month before it releases.
Thank you, lady. And you can't go wrong with any food tie-ins. I think any book like that is just sort of universally popular. And I've just heard nothing but good things about Heather Weber and her books. Do you have any special events coming up that you got planned, or pop-ups or anything that you want to tell us about?
So we do have a few virtual events. One that I'll mention is coming up, and I wish I could tell you the exact date, but it's escaped me. Terry Roberts, who is a Southern writer that a lot of people enjoyed, Holy Ghost and the Speakeasy a few years ago. He's going to do an online event for his new book, which is coming out soon, which is yet another one that probably should have been on my picks for July. There's yet another one I forgot about. So anyway, just they keep going on.
Yes. Well, thank you. And you can go to Snail on the Wall online, Facebook, Instagram, and see everything that Lady's got to offer there, all the cool stuff. So thank you. All right. Well, finally, our unanimous pick. For our July LBC pick, we've got The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. He's sort of our new modern horror leader. If you read the Southern Ladies Guide to Book Club, let's see, I always get that title, Southern Ladies Guide to Slaying Vampire.
Yeah, Southern Book Club.
Thank you. Which was amazing. And he's got several other books, but this is his newest, comes out July 13th. As you know, if you've watched any kind of horror movie, there's always the final girl, and sorry for that window there. The final girl that's left. And so this is about a final girl. She is, her name is Lynette Tarkington. She survived a massacre 22 years ago, and she's actually in a therapy group with 5 other final girls who've all survived, various horrific scenarios. And so they've been, in that unique situation together, supporting each other with their therapist. But suddenly one of the women misses a meeting, and Lynette realizes that someone knows about the group, and they, they're all in great danger. So they have to do what final girls do and fight back and stay alive. So excited about this one. And, I know it's going to be funny and scary and all kinds of good stuff, because Grady Hendrix is great at that. So pick that one up and join us in reading it. And that's what we have for July. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you again for August books.